My name's Kent Johnston, and I'm the author of the book Aruka, Rebuild and Restore Your Health. I also spent years as a director of player wellness in the National Football League. One of my jobs was to assist players in developing their own individual health management program. That's what Aruka is all about. We want to assist you build your individual health management system. But before we do that, you need to make sure that we're the right fit. We want to be honest. If you don't need our services, you don't need to pay for them. What I'm going to do right now is review 5 questions that you need to ask yourself to establish and find out, is Aruka right for you? So question number 1, do you desire optimal health? Now you may be laughing because who wouldn't answer yes to that? Why? Because your health is really your wealth. You know, I want to share an interesting statistic with you that kind of brings this home. There are over 300,000 registered financial planners in the United States alone. There's a ton of people that invest a lot of money in planning their financial futures. Now, that's great, but let me ask you a question. How many people plan their health? If you don't have your health, then you can forget enjoying your wealth when you get to be an older age or you reach retirement. Your wealth is absolutely dependent on how healthy you are. So my challenge to you is simply this. As you ask yourself, do I want optimal health? Consider the fact, am I even planning for it? A second question to ask yourself is this. Do you sense sometimes that something's missing in your pursuit of optimal health? If you do, then you're in the majority. Most of us do. We sense that there's some gap or void that's preventing us from experiencing what we call optimal health. And we search, we look for, we can't find. Even we'll go to our doctor, who's in most cases the most trusted health resource we have for very good reason, and they can't figure something out. You know, at such a time, it's important to remember your doctor is not omniscient. They're just doing the best they can. Well, what do you do with these gaps? Well, that's part of the job of Aruka. We take a personal vested interest in what your gap is. It's almost like solving a puzzle. Sometimes it takes time, and you have to be willing to make that commitment, just as we do. A third and very important question to ask yourself is this. Do you deal with things on a regular basis, such as allergies, ailments, injuries, and even at times disillusionment and depression? If you do, you're probably in the majority. In the 21st century, we have convoluted the meanings of medicine and health, and that's a mistake. Let's define those right now before we even get started. Medicine is a tool or a profession that is used to treat an ailment, sickness, or injury once it occurs. Health, on the other hand, is a state of being. And it is amazing how many things out there that are not just related to tangible, but things that go on in the inner person can affect your level of health. Because if health is truly a state of being, which it is, it's important to address the inner person every bit as much as it is to address the outer person. A fourth question to ask yourself is this. Are you willing to be proactive and not simply reactive in your pursuit of optimal health? Now, you may be asking, what do you mean by that, Kent? Well, very simply, I mean this. Most people spend their life living in a reactive model of health. In other words, they only really think about their health when something goes wrong. When they get sick, when they get injured, when they start experiencing pain, that they can't remedy or solve, that's when they want to start talking about their health. You will never, regardless of who you are, you will never achieve optimal health if you live in a reactive state. The other path, the path you have to choose, is the path of being proactive in your pursuit of health. You have a personal responsibility to yourself and to your loved ones to establish this proactive walk. It's vital. It's necessary. What I want to encourage you to do is to begin to own your own responsibility. If you're not willing to be proactive in this pursuit of health, then you need to go somewhere else right now, because Aruka is never going to be for you. Final question. Do you want help, encouragement, and accountability from someone as you work to pursue optimal health? Well, most of us want this. Aruka provides navigation, and I think that's the key word here. When I was in the National Football League and I operated as a director of player wellness, my job was to serve as a navigator. I didn't practice medicine. That, number one, was against the law. But number two, it wasn't my job. My job was to serve as an individual that pointed and said, have you ever considered this? Have you thought about going to see this person and inquiring of them, because that's their particular area of expertise? That's what we do here at Aruka, but we do it in a personal sense. We provide personal health navigation to you that revolves around your specific need on that specific day. So after going through these 5 questions, I hope you're positioned better to make a decision to find out, is Aruka Health even right for you? If you answered yes to any of the 5 questions that we just reviewed, then I would ask you to consider the fact that Aruka might be able to fill those gaps, provide that navigation, and point direction, and bring new, fresh resources to the table for you to help solve your health dilemma, whatever it is. You know, if you're an individual that's very, very happy and content on the path that you're on, then keep keeping on. Keep up the good work. But if you're an individual that's not, that feel like there's certain things falling through the gap, or you just want a new and fresh experience, we're here to serve you, and you just need to tell us where we need to start.